Okay, so going live here with the recording, and got to get to my emails. I'm using a different webcam today, so my emails are straight on. Let me see if I can find what we have today. Does personifying God help or hurt our ability to better understand him, her, it, them? Or is it just the best we have in terms of metaphors? I think it's a fascinating question to talk about personifying God, when in fact I think we perhaps have the tendency to personify God, attribute to him human characteristics and the like. But really, when we look at what Christianity is, especially in light of the Nativity, the feasts of the Incarnation that we are celebrating in this Christmas season, then we have to say, God has personified himself. And so God has made himself known to us in and as Jesus of Nazareth. And that then ought to be our first point of reflection whenever we consider who God is, who he has. So it's who he has revealed himself to be in and as Jesus of Nazareth. And that is where we can say, like, all our reflections on who God is are drawn from the life of Jesus. And we see that he lives in the flesh, the life of love in its perfection. And then he, of course, sends us his Spirit so that we can bring to life his love here and now. So that's a great question. There's more to be said there, but the incarnation changes everything. Let me look and see if I can find question 2 here. I was raised Catholic, but in my experience, church often feels more like a political party than anything else. I want to know God, but I feel like I'm more likely to find him on my own than in a so-called worshiping community. Am I missing something? Oh, my friend, you are not missing anything. You're in fact getting to the heart of who we ought to be as Christians. We for some time have lived Christianity as a disembodied reality, an intellectual assent to certain true propositions and the rest. That then tends towards trying to do it on our own, making progress, fits and starts, and the rest. But you hit on the worshiping community. When you find a community that, say, professes to be Christian or Catholic, but its main priorities are, say, partisan politics, then you are discovering for yourself what that community worships, what that community finds most important or most worthwhile. So that there's something really good about your discomfort with that kind of experience of Christianity. What you would hope to find in the church, and what you ought to find in the church, is a community of Jesus followers, disciples who put God and his purposes as their absolute priority in life. And that's where we're going to find what it means to be a true worshiping community. Then it has an impact on the kind of political activities we take up and don't take up. But more than anything else, it ought to be experienced as love in action and encouragement to praise God with our whole heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. It should take flesh in that community. So it's tons of questions being asked in that one question. But yes, worship and praise of God has to be the priority of the Christian community. I think we experience that in a community that takes that very seriously, and you can see that, I think, in a number of ways. But it's expressed in works of love. It's love made flesh. Again, we're back into our nativity theme.